career from Howie Roseman. Draft class is set here for the Eagles. The Eagles going to have... When's rookie minicamp? This weekend? They have rookie minicamp coming up this weekend. All right. So Howie Roseman was on with Rich Eisen talking about this draft class, particularly the top two guys here, Jihad Campbell and Makuba from Texas. Let's hear about Campbell, what he said there, and asked about the medical concerns around Jihad Campbell.
For us, all along through the process, this was a top 10 player on our board. I think it's no secret by now. Some of the questions are more medical in nature for the reason that he fell to the spot kind of where we were. We rely on our doctors, and we had a lot of conversation on Jihad, and we think that over the near short term and the long term that he's going to be ready to go and play a lot of great football for us.
All right, so there's Howie on Campbell, and still that medical thing hovers over. We're not really quite sure. He had surgery in March. I'm not sure when he's going to be fully ready, hopefully at the start of training camp. And then he talked about Makuba, the safety out of Texas, and the versatility he saw when he scouted him.
He had played a lot of nickel at Clemson, so he had this coverage ability, which we're always looking for in our back-end players, to be able to come down, cover the slot, to have that versatility, to not only be able to play in the middle of the field, but to come down and cover slot receivers, gives Vic a lot of flexibility. And so he had that cover ability. He just plays like his hair is on fire. You know, everything about him is fast and physical, and he's got ball skills too.
All right, Hugh, let me ask you a question. So there's how we talking about their first two picks, right? Mm-hmm. And last year, their first two picks had huge impacts, right? Quinyon Mitchell started all year long on the best defense in pro football. Mm-hmm. And then by the time week 5 arrived and he got healthy, Cooper DeJean joined him as basically a starter. I mean, nickel plays almost all the time anyway, on the best defensive football. It was immediate and significant impact from last year's rookie class. Hugh, now that we know who they are, right? We discussed before the draft, is Howie still going to draft well? Do you trust him? All that kind of stuff. Now we know who we got, right? This is the 2025 Eagles draft class. Do you expect immediate impact out of this group?
Yes, I do. Because my whole thing is when we talked about these guys, smart players. I feel like they've gotten that. You know, when you talk about the D tackle from Nebraska, what's his name? Ty Robinson, you know, pre-med and all that other good stuff.
The vanilla gorilla, they call him.
Yeah, I think they have some smart guys, and I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to make an impact. And I think the corner's going to be. I was listening to Barry Brooks the other day, and he said something that I thought was interesting. I got to thinking about it. He's a slot receiver, a slot corner, I should say. Makuba. So, okay, if he's the slot corner, so does that mean that we're moving DeJean to the starting corner, the outside?
It's certainly on the table.
Well, and my thing is this, because we saw DeJean eat in that slot.
Very good out there. Yep.
Big physical guy, and we saw what he brought to the table, especially when you talk about the Derrick Henry tackle or whatever. Makuba's a little bit smaller. So my thing is, you're going to get him on the field. It seems like he's going to be on the field. But at what cost, though? Like, I can't, like right now with his size, I would say that he's probably better suited for the outside. Or is it going to be something where you make these DBs interchangeable in a sense? Like you get the best matchups because you have different individuals that have the skill set where they can play anywhere, but you can match them up according to the personnel that the other team has.
Well, that's ideal. I mean, if you could pull it off.
Yeah, because it's like, I was like, because he's a little small to just keep him in the slot, and then you have a thing where you could just take the matchup and make it to your advantage by putting the tight end in there.
Right.
With his size, because he's like, 5'11". He's not that big.
Makuba is about 186 pounds.
Yeah, but he's wide. He's a wiry. He's a hitter.
Yeah.
So I think that what in essence they're trying to do is now we can match man for man. You know what I mean? You can still play your defense, but we got smart enough guys back there that, okay, you go with this guy, you go with this guy. We can still play. We can play man concepts, zone concepts, whatever. But we like the matchups at the line where we could take you and put you here or there. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought process.
Yeah, and it is an interesting draft class. I mean, we had Elliott on yesterday, and he said if you showed the Eagles before the draft what this class was, they might have been surprised this is who they took. They're not upset at it, but maybe it wasn't what they expected, and the board kind of played out that way. So, look, I like the players they took. I think Jihad Campbell could be a star as he develops. He certainly has the body type and skill set and background to be a star player. but he's coming off surgeries, and everyone's not even sure when he's going to get on the field this summer. So I got to temper my expectation for when he's going to be able to play. And then do they throw everything at him, or is it just you learn inside linebacker this year, and then we'll kind of throw other stuff at you the way they did Cooper as just a slot, and then maybe they can move him around. I don't know. And then Makuba, like you said, a little undersized. We'll see what he becomes. I agree with you. Ty Robinson might have the easiest path to get on the field quickly because they just have lack of depth at defensive line. Mm-hmm. I think he could play quickly, but I'm not expecting a huge immediate impact out of this class. It's like you go back some years, it's a good class, but it takes them a year. Like 2022, Jordan Davis barely played. Mm-hmm. Cam Jurgens didn't play. Nakobe Dean didn't play. Like that class is good now, right? Cam Jurgens just got a lot of money. They just picked up the option on Davis. Nakobe had a big year this year. So sometimes draft classes could be good, but it's not immediate. I think last year was an anomaly. 215-592-9494. Are you expecting an immediate impact out of this draft class? I think before the draft, we were expecting that idea because they lost so much at free agency. But now that I see who it is, I don't know. I mean, I like the Campbell pick, but I'm not sure the immediate is the word. Kyle, are you expecting an immediate impact from this class?
I think I'd be asking a lot to expect immediate impact. Like the Eagles kind of got lucky last season with how ready Quinion and Cooper DeJean were.
Yeah.
That's not a normal thing in the NFL. Even Jalen Carter took a couple years. Like usually it takes guys a few years. And plus, like we saw the entire defense not really start off too hot with Vic Fangio's system. Like Fangio has a bit of I think what's known to be a complicated system, especially for rookie guys. And like the other thing we have to factor in here is the Eagles prioritize versatility with these two guys. It's not just them learning one position, like seek and destroy or something from one spot. Like if you're getting these guys comfortable doing multiple things on this defense, that's going to take a little bit too. So while I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing that they're not going to be ready right away, I just don't think it'd be fair for me to go into the season and expect that kind of impact right away from these guys.
I agree. I think it's a lot to expect. Now, look, Q, if Campbell can get on the field quickly in training camp and we're there doing a shows at training camp and he's out there, I might change my mind. Then it'd be like, oh, wow, like he's ready. But I just, every time people talk about his medicals, even Howie, no one seems to have hey, we expect him July 15th, he'll be clear. It's very vague on what's going on there.
Yeah, I think they're trying to protect the player. But as far as what we're talking about and rookies playing, like every year, there's at least 50 rookies in the NFL that start week one.
Yeah, totally.
There's at least 50. So you have to understand is that when you draft nowadays, and especially with our team, you have to know that some of these guys got to contribute right away. It's on Vic, and that especially on the defensive side of the ball, because that's who we took, that's who we have. It's going to be on Vic and his coaching staff to make sure that they get these young men up to speed as quickly as possible and learn their skill sets as quickly as possible because we're in a situation where they have to play.
Yeah.
So I expect them to contribute early in this season.
Well, I hope they do. I don't expect it, but I hope it. 215-592-94. If you could chime in on that as well. Do you expect immediate impact out of this rookie class? Last year was an enormous, just immediate impact. I'm not expecting that kind of thing again. Where do you come down now that the dust has settled on this class with Campbell and Makuba and Ty Robinson there, the defensive tackle out of Nebraska, and then all the late round picks?